Last but not least, your resilience. Although a lot of leaders make it last. So let's make it first, even though it's last. You have some handouts on your table, so grab that if you want to. But we're a community of abundance, so there'll be a QR code at the end if you want additional resources on resilience. This is a little organization. So let me just talk a little bit about resilience. My goal for today is for you to leave with one commitment to yourself, realizing I have 10 minutes, although I think you put that introduction, because this says I already spoke for 4 minutes, which I didn't. But just to say to you, I know I'm between you and the break, but how many people here are willing to make one commitment to yourself in the next 6 minutes about your resiliency? Okay, pretty good showing. Maybe we can persuade a few more along the way. The other goal is for you to understand the 8 components of resiliency. It's a much more complex area than you might realize, and knowing the options is helpful for you to see about doing more for yourself and for your teams. What is resiliency? Resiliency is really how you face conflict, how you face adversity, how you face change. So that's all that it is. That's what's happening with that. And I'm pulling from the Executive Fire model here, which is an assessment tool used to assess leaders and teams, pre and post either coaching or workshop, to see how resiliency can change over time. It's a very coachable characteristic and something you can do as leaders. How many of you think that resiliency is primarily innate? Got it, or you don't got it? Okay, we got a few. And how many think it's mostly learned or all learned? All acquired, all a skill? Okay, great. You're both right. Executive resilience is actually both innate, which is fixed, it's a trait that you cannot change, and then 7 of the 8 components are acquired. What is the one that's fixed or innate? That's about extroversion and introversion, but extroversion with a twist. If you are an extrovert, you get energy from being with other people, like many people in the room are, then you can't change that. If you are an introvert, you get energy from being alone, and that's what that is. With resiliency, extroversion has to do with also the comfort with uncertainty and the desire for novel solutions. So it's extroversion plus those 2 extra points to it. Many people in this room have a very much innate resiliency because the system is actually biased towards that. So if you've moved through multiple promotions in corporations, the others have been screened out, and you've been screened in. It's a given that's there. So for the CFOs in the room that like tried and true methods, that is very good for the CFO, bottom line. But so sorry, this is an innate preference, and it's across cultures. So that's a little bit about innate resiliency. What are the 2 problems with innate resiliency? One is that the leader, often the one with the innate resiliency, uses many of the characteristics in that on their teams. What does that mean? Basically, the teams are unlikely to have a lot of innate resiliency, so the leader charges forward with it and wanting the other team members to deal with uncertainty happily and to come up with novel solutions easily, and they just aren't going to do that. So the leader can leave their team in the dust and burn them out. What's the second problem with innate resiliency? This is one that we all are probably familiar with. You've got it, you know it, you count on it, and so that's that. But the problem is, at some point in time, there's a business challenge that will actually exceed that innate resiliency. If you don't develop the other characteristics of resiliency, you will hit a line. As one leader told me when I talked to him about resiliency, Karen, I'm waiting for my first mild cardiac event. The problem is you can't calibrate that perfectly. And his visit with high blood pressure in doctor's office at 45 decided for him to, his body to tell him, now's the time to get to more resiliency. Okay, we're going to do a quick biography exercise in just a minute. So if you have journals, that would be good to have. The biography is the storytelling, and we've talked a lot about storytelling. We had a beautiful story. We're telling ourselves a story right now about being here with our Stanford peers. So the story we're going to talk about today, though, in that example is, what is one crisis that is on your mind? We'll get back to that, but just be thinking, something that's pulling your attention. In the meantime, I just want to quickly go over the other 6 aspects of resiliency that we will not be talking about, but just I want to name them for you to get you curious. If, as you're listening here, one of them is going to call to you, or you'll feel a little pang of something, that's your inner self trying to let you know, pay attention to this, please do something about it, maybe now. And so you'll have the chance for the QR code has resources that you can come back to, or you're welcome to talk to me in the break. So these categories, the other 6 categories come in 3: energy, mindset, and meaning. Energy is really just energy management, how you take care of your mental energy, whether that's spirituality, positive psychology, many different aspects of the mental management. And the body axis is your management of your body. So those of us that were on the roof this morning watching the sunrise, with music and movement, we're working on our mind-body axis. Tomorrow's yoga, 7 o'clock, we'll be looking for you. Okay, mindset is mental agility. That's something we're all familiar with from Stanford. Carol Dweck's work in growth mindset is identical to that. The curiosity to find new options and interests and develop new possibilities. And then attitude is another mindset. That is really just your default. Something bad happens. Glass half empty, glass half full. I'm a victim. This happens to me. This is my story. You start getting into storytelling. Glass half full. I'm a change agent. I'll handle it. I'll figure it out. And then the final category, which is overweighted for sure, is meaning. Meaning has to do with your purpose here on the planet, and your values. Are they aligned to your purpose? It's overweighted in the sense that if you have meaning in place, it's going to help all your other areas of resiliency automatically. And also with meaning is authentic relationships. This is not your amazing, social network. This is your small core of key people that are come as you are. The place you can show up, good, bad, ugly, all good and accepted. So for me, that's my SEP Women's Circle that's been meeting since 2019 every month. And we're just basically doing life together. I encourage you to think about that. And I heard Mario is going to be starting a men's circle, so get with him later, guys. Okay, I would just say also about meaning, one of the studies with this tool was used in terms of Ukrainian leaders and other European leaders. And it was interesting, right? The resiliency was higher with the Ukrainian leaders, even though they're under all this stress with the war. But they're fighting for something that's way beyond their family themselves, and that's the whole nature of purpose. It's beyond your personal life. It's for something much bigger for the planet in the future. Okay, I promised you an exercise, so this is the exercise right now. You had thought about a crisis, and please write one sentence down in your journal. I'm just going to give you 20 seconds, but please write something down, a phrase, the crisis you're dealing with right now, and what is it? What's its impact? So something you're dealing with in your personal life, work life, wherever in your life, but somewhere in your life. And like any good story, it starts in the middle, and it goes back to the past, and it goes forward to the future for the solution and the thoughts. Thank you for giving each other some silence. Okay, and as I mentioned, we're going to go back to the past. So I want you to just take a deep breath and think about one adversity or crisis in your life that really shaped you. It really tested you, and you came through it with some additional resiliency. Many may come to mind because of the age of the people in the room. Just grab one of those and write down just the date, your age. What was the name of that crisis? And what was its impact on you, particularly in terms of learning? What was the resiliency that you found in yourself and you learned? Just jot a note to yourself about that. Okay, and then whenever we look to the past, we really need to ask the question, is there anything I really have that I'm still carrying that does not serve me? If it doesn't serve you anymore, let that thing go. Just make a note. This crisis still carries X with me. Write that X down. and then figure out a way to start letting that go, because it's not serving you. It's taking weight and time and space. Okay. And then, how many people have had an executive coach somewhere in their work life? Okay, I'm so happy. Good for you. I'm pro-coaching, obviously. I spent more than half my life on it. I also have had 3 coaches myself at various points in time in my career. It's been very helpful. Why do I mention that? Because if you've had a coach, you've probably worked with the future self. We're going to pull a little snag of that exercise right here. So I would like you to take 3 deep breaths, close your eyes. And what you're going to do in this time is picture your future self. Are there wrinkles? Are there gray hairs? We have some of those here today too, but 20 years from now, and how is that person looking at you? Are they standing beside you, behind you, to your side, facing you straight on? Are they touching you? So picture that person. One more deep breath. And then you want to ask your future self, what is the one important thing that I must do in this current crisis? Take a minute and write that down. Your future self is always available for you in times of need and other ways. So think about that. How many of you have your commitment of what you're going to do for yourself or for your resiliency leaving here, or some idea? Okay, starting. So be sure and get that by the end of the day. I remember at Stanford we have to lock it in. So be sure and get that before the end of the day. Look around the room to someone you trust and be sure and share that. That will increase the chances of you getting that work done. And hopefully this is helpful to you. This QR code has the deck, and it also has additional resources. If you send an email, then I'll send you additional articles if you're interested. Thanks so much for this time. We are taking a break right now. It is coffee and networking for 30 minutes.